Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, heard Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on PSA.com and the PSA Facebook page. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by PSA and the National Sports Collectors Convention. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all of your hobby news, features, and more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now, your hosts, Tom Zappala and Rico Petrocelli.
Well, nice to meet you, Tom.
Man,
Finally.
it's been a few months.
Yeah,
You know?
We're back. You're going to explain?
Yeah, we're back in studio. Rico's back up north
Salud.
from the west coast of Florida, and I'm back up north from the east coast. So for the last 3.5 months, we've both been working remotely. It's good to be back in the studio,
Yeah,
man.
it's good to be back up here, freezing our rear ends.
I know,
off. But,
exactly.
hey, what the heck's the difference?
Tom Zappala, just welcome everybody. Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli, my paisan. You look good. Yeah,
Compared to what?
look at my tan compared to yours, though.
But, yeah, it's good to be back, and it's great to talk about the industry and you guys, our guests today.
Oh, we got a jam-packed
best,
show.
the best.
Jam-packed.
And,
As a matter of fact, there's no headline today because we have actually 4 guests coming on. We're going to start right now, right out of the gate, with our old friend. He looks as though he has, like, short hair, but he really doesn't.
Well, if he turns around, whoa,
There
it is.
All right, let's bring in Al Crisafulli from Love of the Game Auctions. Al, how are you, brother?
Hey,
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good. Hey, congratulations, man, on your auction. Not only for the auction, but the painting. You auctioned off the painting. Tell us about it and how much you guys raised for charity.
So Greg Kreinler, who you may know,
Greg's a great artist. Great artist.
he's a great artist and a super nice guy. And he approached me about a year ago about doing a painting of Roberto Clemente for the to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the plane crash that took his life.
Yeah.
And as we know, Roberto was a great humanitarian in addition to being a great baseball player. And so Greg and I both elected to make this a charitable thing. So all of the proceeds from the painting were donated to Unidos US, which is the largest Latino charity, civil rights organization in the United States. And so we did it. We let it fly, and the painting wound up selling for $60,000.
Fantastic!
Wow.
Which was pretty fantastic. Yeah, we're really happy.
Al, I'm a kind of a amateur artist, and I got some stuff home. Can I get?
Jesus, no.
We work-
I've seen it. I'm begging you.
Sure, Rico.
I am.
All right,
I'm begging you. I've seen it.
It's all on the refrigerator, right? At your house. It's
On a magnet. It's on a magnet.
Yeah, right.
And by the way, Al's in the house. Shortly, we're going to be joined by Craig Sandlin from the Loupe App. At the Loupe App. It's a great app. He's going to talk about the Dealer of the Year. And there's a big contest going on. We're going to talk to him.
That's
Later on in
great.
the show, we're going to talk to the new editor and publisher of PSA Magazine,
Yeah.
Jack Archer.
Ooh, I
and
wish-
then after that, James Fiorentino.
I'd
the
love to
artist.
get that magazine someday. You know what I mean?
I'll give you mine.
Hint. What do you mean,
$9.
mine?
No,
I want my
get you
own.
one. We'll get you one. But anyways, let's. All right, so you just finished up your auction, Al. How was it?
That was great. It was a record for us in terms of number of bidders, in terms of number of bids, in terms of dollars, payouts to consigners. It broke every record. So the trajectory continues northward, which is excellent for all of us.
So when do I get my check?
You don't. I don't actually pay consigners.
You know, I consigned some very valuable cards that I found in a shoebox. And I expect
Really?
payment at some point. Yeah, I gave him a few cards. You know what I'm doing?
I'll pay you at some point.
I'm changing. Seriously, I'm changing kind of directions. I've unloaded all my entire T206 collection except for my Hall of Famers. All gone.
Wow.
A lot of private sales.
Right.
I'm kind of, I want to get into some memorabilia. I mean, I've kind of.
Zoom thing is kind of weird. I'm looking at over there because that's where you are on my computer. Is that better?
There you go. Much better. Now you're looking at us.
Al, and the thing that really surprised me, I'll be honest with you, is the prices are fabulous. I mean, people know the value. And there is value in it, collecting. But with the inflation the way it is now, and maybe going up a little, hopefully, it's not really hurting you guys, right? Knock on wood. That's what I mean. Right. I understand.
It was something that I was curious about when we got into this, and when this auction cycle began, I was curious as to how the broader economic picture was going to impact the hobby, and thus far, it doesn't seem like it has. And smarter minds than me try and figure this stuff out. I think
it's a great investment. We talked last time.
Yeah, I mean, there's been no slowdown as far as what I can see, especially with the new young guns that have come in. That millennial investor / collector. I mean, I think they've really added a breath of fresh air to the hobby. I really do.
Yeah. For the longest time, we used to talk about what's going to happen to this aging hobby. Right. Yeah. And is it going to go the way of stamps, or is there going to be some kind of thing that happens to, inject new life into it? And it seems like there has been.
Yeah, no, I'm really pleased. I mean, everybody was a little skeptical, but what's a good thing too, is that I'm seeing more and more that the young hobbyist / investor, they're also starting to dabble in some of the vintage stuff, which is, I think, kind of cool.
Yeah, this is what's important, I think, is to maintain that reverence for the history of the hobby and for the history of the material. It's really easy to, especially now that there's no real publication out there. There's no standard catalog being published. So where are all of these new discoveries being cataloged? What's the clearinghouse for that stuff, and where do people learn about it? It's really important to me that especially some of these more obscure 19th century and early 20th century issues don't get forgotten in this mad rush for
that's a good point.
And so it's it's going to be important to see how that plays out, and what role things like Old Cardboard and prewarcards.com and sites like that have in maintaining
going forward,
sort of that encyclopedic reference of, for the older issues.
All right, we have about a few seconds left. Your next auction is when?
Next auction will be in conjunction with the National.
Okay.
So it'll open right around the National and close right after. Our consignment deadline for that is May, sort of end of May. You can get me at info@loveofthegameauctions.com, or you can just go to the website, loveofthegameauctions.com, and hit that consigner page, and there's a little form there for you to fill out.
Fabulous. We'll see you We'll see you at the National.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be broadcasting from the Burka stage for PSA, so we're looking forward to it.
You and Tom can talk about your hair.
I'll buy you guys a milkshake at the National.
There you go. All right, Al. Take care.
You're good. It's always good to see you.
Take care. Crisafulli from Love of the Game Auctions. All right, I'm really excited about our next guest, Craig Sandlin from the Loupe App. We're going to get into this right now. Craig, how are you?
Hey, Craig.
Great, Tom. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you. I tell you, I have a million questions regarding. First of all, tell us about the app. How does the app work? What's it all about? We threw a couple of teasers out there, and I've already gotten emails. Tell me about it. So now you can tell us about it.
Yeah. So Loupe is a live e-commerce platform built for the modern day trading card collector. And so we've seen a lot of people who use Instagram or TikTok Live or a number of different platforms in order to sell sports cards, boxes, packs. What we did is we made it easier both on the seller and on the buyer. So now everything is all in one place. So you go live on Loupe, you have a list of all of the packs and boxes that you have available for sale. People can come in, they can check out your sales list, they can purchase things right within the app, that you don't have to leave it to go to PayPal or anything like that to send money. Purchase it. It's a guaranteed purchase for the seller. Everything's contained in the app. The seller opens it right there on camera for you and shipped out securely within 48 hours. And it's a lot of fun, and we've built a great community of hobbyists and collectors.
Now, I mean, very cool, Rick.
No, I was going to say that things like that are going to make the industry grow, and you got innovation is terrific. What's the app? Are we allowed? Can you give the app?
What's the app? The website of the app?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the website is loupetheapp.com. It's LOUPE, theapp.com, or you can find us in both app stores and Google Play Store. And we've been around for about a year and a half now, and
that's exactly
growing tremendously, and, continuing to grow, and excited for the future.
That's exactly what we were just talking about with Al Crisafulli. Your generation, you guys have really. We're thrilled. I mean, you're turning it. You've taken it to another level, and there's some pretty savvy hobbyists and collectors out there. Tell us about the America's Best Card Shop concept and contest.
Yeah, so last month at the Mint Collective, we announced our search for America's Best Card Shop. Obviously, the future with technology is important, but the cornerstone of our hobby is the local card shop. It's where families, kids, children are able to go learn about the hobby, experience, purchase, all of these things. There's an educational aspect behind local card shops, and we really value what they bring to the hobby overall. And so we partnered with a bunch of great companies such as PSA and Topps, Blowout Cards, All Sports Marketing, to be able to launch this search for America's Best Card Shop. And ultimately what we want to do is recognize those card shops across the country that are doing great work to grow this hobby.
That's go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask you, do you think the organization, the industry needs an association? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my background is in college athletics, and so we had a national organization broken down by the area that you worked in. But I think there's a lot of value to have national organizations in some of the conferences like Mint and like the Topps conference that they put on each year, just to share best practices to make sure that we're continuing to grow the hobby. I think, we've heard from plenty of people that there are some card shops out there that are still a little stuck in the 80s or 90s. And so I think a conference like that and an association could certainly serve beneficial to ensure that we're continuing to grow the hobby for the better. And as you look at it, one of the things that stands out to me is you can see behind, we actually have a card shop with our HQ. And so one of the things that stands out to me is the number of kids that are coming in and truly viewing this not only as a quality hobby, but as a business, and the amount of money that they're investing, and they're building businesses. We have one guy who comes in, he's probably 13 years old. He comes in, he buys a bunch of lower end slabs, and he does Instagram sales every week. And, he's building a true business around it. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to continue to grow. And the local card shop plays an immense part in that growth. Absolutely. Because without us or without the other card shops in the area, that 13-year-old may not have an opportunity to build the business that he's currently building.
Again, we've got Jack coming on later on, Jack Archer. It's, PSA Magazine is changing. It's a young group now. It's really dynamic. You guys are doing the same thing. I do have a question, though. Is it still too late, or is it too late, or is this early enough to nominate somebody, a shop?
Yep, absolutely. So we, like I said, we announced it at the end of March. We'll take nominations through the end of this month. So the deadline is the end of April. We have a panel of judges that are all going to judge the nominations. We currently have over 1,000 nominations for this competition, which is amazing. If you are interested in nominating your local card shop, certainly visit loupe.cards/bestcardshop, LOUPE.cards/bestcardshop. And there's a Google form for you to fill out and nominate your local card shop to be considered for this. And I mentioned the panel of judges, but we really do have some all-stars from the hobby, and Kevin O'Neill from Topps, Suze, who many people know from Women of the Hobby, used to work for Topps, now works with Golden. DJ Ski, who's a top 70 artist, well-known in the hobby, investor in the hobby. And AJ Dillon from the Green Bay Packers, who's a well-known collector, is also signed on to be a panel of judges. So we're really excited about the exposure that we've gotten and the nominations we've gotten, but we certainly want to grow more.
Who's a big collector, who was with Toronto, is with the Yankees now, right? Donaldson, is it?
Yeah, Josh Donaldson.
Josh Donaldson.
Yeah, Josh Donaldson. Yeah, we found out. That's interesting.
Yeah, Josh.
I think there's probably a lot of athletes that maybe a lot of people don't know collect, whether it be teammates that they've played with or their own cards.
Yeah.
You know, AJ's a great example. And we work closely with AJ for a long time now, but he collects not only every one of his own that he can find, but he also collects teammates and friends of his. So he has a big Herbert collection, a big Jordan Love collection. Obviously, Aaron Jones is a big PC of his. So there's a lot of athletes that collect. There's a show on Bally Sports hosted by Matt Strom, who's a pitcher in the major leagues.
Sure.
And so there's a lot of athletes that are getting into this hobby and continue to grow.
That's great.
And so I definitely, AJ being a part of this is a big part of it, but there's a lot more athletes that enjoy this.
You know, you and I have talked about this before. Think about when you played with two generations of players, guys like Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle up to Robin Yount and George Brett.
Right.
Think about, you guys never did any of that stuff. Collect cards from each other.
One guy, I told you, George Thomas, who lives in Florida, we see every year. He's the only guy that used to collect bats. He would collect bats with autographs, and they were building a bar in the basement. You know,
that's what he was.
And they had the legs of the what do you call it here? The the chairs
Made out of bats.
all bats. And
Think about
man,
this. How many you grew up, Mickey Mantle was your idol as a kid, and now you're playing against him.
yeah.
You know, if you had a Mickey Mantle card,
Well, I got
a 52,
I did have a Mickey Mantle
a 52, and got him to sign it.
Yeah.
See?
Thanks.
That would have been pretty cool.
That's it. Kill
right?
me.
There was actually a social media discussion just a few weeks ago because AJ Dillon does that. So he'll send off cards to Justin Herbert and his friends and get them to sign those cards. And so there was a conversation because he posted on Instagram one of his Jordan Love, Justin Herbert dual signed autographs that both of them had marked 1 of 1. And he had put it in a PSA slab and had it authenticated. And it's not something that he's looking to sell by any means. It just means something to him.
Yeah.
But athletes have an opportunity and access that a lot of fans don't have. And so they can truly build up a collection that means something to them.
Very cool.
It's not always about the money, but it's something about that nostalgia and being able to look back in 20 years
Absolutely.
to those players that they played with.
Craig, I tell you, I went to my first national. We went to Chicago with.
That was about 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, and it was absolutely fabulous. I really didn't know a lot about the. Like Tom, we didn't know a lot about the industry. No, but when I went there, I was like, holy jeez. Well, it was fabulous.
And now
it was fabulous.
I'm sure you've been, right? The thing that was most enlightening last year was the demographic. I mean, there were a lot of young kids there, and that was really a breath of fresh air to see that. I mean, these are kids that knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a little ashamed to say that last year was my first national.
It's okay.
But it was amazing. It's a great experience. I mean, obviously an entire convention center packed with vendors from all over the country. But like you said, there are kids walking around there looking at all the cards that are there. And there are also people that are, significantly older that are reminiscing about their memories that are walking through there. And so this is a hobby that's
great
that everybody can enjoy.
Absolutely.
And there's so many different ways to enjoy it. Whether it be as an investment or as a business or just as something for memories. Yeah. And both of those are totally acceptable and exciting.
Yeah.
By the way, later on in the show, we're going to have our giveaway from the Staten Island Joe Marino bag, another autographed picture of Rico in action. How old were you, about 24 here?
No, I was younger than that. Oh, it's third base. No, about 26.
26, yeah. Nice picture. So we're going to be giving away one of these, and then later on with the On Deck with Rico segment, we're going to be giving away a GAX T-shirt.
The what?
Great American Collectibles
Oh, yeah,
T-shirt.
yeah. That's
kind of
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. So that'll be going to somebody.
Craig,
we got about a minute left. What is, tell us I know what I want to ask you. How does a card shop partner with you guys? What do they have to do?
Yeah, so if you email support@loupeapp.com, we can send you the application to join our platform. We do have a waiting list right now of about 2,000 card shops from across the country that have applied. We're working tirelessly to cut down that list, obviously. but there's a ton of interest in e-commerce and growing people's business. And that's really why we exist, is to help small businesses grow. And so we want to do our best to make sure that we're bringing in as many new partners as we can. But we do have our values that we want to make sure that we're upholding. And that's about community and trustworthiness and in every transaction. And so if you pull a card out of a pack, we want to make sure that you're getting that card in the exact condition that is pulled in. And so there's a vetting process that we go through that kind of slows it down a little bit, but certainly email support at Loupe App, and we'd be happy to chat with you about joining our platform.
We should get in touch with Phil Castanetti. He's
I know,
got a
Phil,
big shop.
I know, he'd be great. Yeah, he would be good nomination, too.
Yeah.
So talk about the prize money. There's some pretty significant prize money.
Absolutely. So the prize package is valued at about $50,000. Half of that is made up of $25,000 in cash to be able to make store improvements. And so we want to make sure that we're helping grow the hobby. And so we're putting some cash behind that to help you grow your store in the way that you think is fit. We're also sponsoring a trade night at your store. So we'll pay for food, beverages, stuff like that to try and draw in more crowd. We'll pay for an athlete appearance to come out and do a signing at your shop.
It's my agent hit. Can he talk to
you? We'll be in touch.
So far, he hasn't done a thing in 5 years for me.
Also in the prize package is a paid trip to Miami here to visit our headquarters and meet with our CEO and a number of our team members.
Miami, yeah.
And most importantly, a paid trip to the National next year, because we will be announcing the winner of this competition this summer at the National on the main stage. And so we're going to be flying out our winner to the National and making sure that they're there. And we're really excited for the response that we've gotten already, and hopeful that we can use the main stage at the National to really shed some light on the LCSs and the value that they bring to our hobby.
We're going to be up there, whatever we can do to help you guys. We're going to be doing a special 2-hour show on Friday, I think, from 1 to 3 or 3 to 4, 3 to 5, whatever. If you guys want to jump in, it's going to be nationally, broadcast, so you're more than welcome to jump in and chat about it. Now, you guys are based out of Miami?
We are. We're based in Wynwood, which is a suburb of Miami, right near downtown. Like you can see behind us, we have a modern card shop that's decked out. We're in kind of the art district of Miami, and so you can see the murals on the wall. If I can point here, that's Jackie Robinson, Kobe back here on my other shoulder. But we're a modern card shop, so a lot of slabs, new wax, and like I said, we've got a lot of kids that come in and enjoy the hobby here. And it's a lot of fun.
Well, something, I'm in Palm Beach during the wintertime. Maybe next year we can do a remote from there. I'd love to.
We would love to have you.
Yeah, we can do a show from there, Rico.
Of course.
That'd be
kidding
be
with the
kind of
technology we have now.
No, it's seriously. It's
which I know
cool.
nothing about, and you don't either, but that's okay.
All right, Craig.
We can make it work one way or another.
Craig, one last question before we let you go. So how many employees with the company?
Yeah, I think we're up to 18 now. We just hired a couple more that started within the last couple of weeks. I think we're up to 18 full-time, and then we have some outsourced development engineers that work with us as well. But literally a year and a half, we started with, I think if you would have asked me when I started back in June, I think we were at 8 or 9 full-time employees. So we've more than doubled in the last 8 months or so, and constantly hiring. So if you happen to be watching this and you're a back-end engineer, iOS or Android, feel free to hit us up. We'd be happy to chat about some opportunities with our business.
Awesome. Good. Well, listen, it's a great concept.
Yep.
We've heard nothing but good things about you guys, and wishing you well down the road, and we'll see you at the National.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Anytime.
Thank you.
All right.
Great.
Craig Sandlin from Loupe. We're going to take a quick break. We come back. We're going to bring Jack Archer from PSA Magazine in. Hang in there.
Yeah, Jack.
We'll be right back.
All right.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auction and Collectibles Company. If you're looking to maximize your return on your sports cards and collectibles, look no further. We at Memory Lane Auction House offer you several options to achieve top dollar for your collectibles. Whether you're looking to auction or sell privately, we're the #1 choice with over 17 years in the hobby. Nobody will work harder to achieve your goals. Just call us today at 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE. Or visit us on the web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Go with the best. Go with Memory Lane.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
Now on deck with Rico Petrocelli. Hi, my name is Chloe. Time for On Deck with Rico Petrocelli.
All right. Before we...
If we stay in the air and she keeps doing this,
That's
she'll
a good
be
point.
22 years old.
All right, listen, before we bring Jack in, it is time for our segment, On Deck with Rico, brought to us by our good friend Brian Dwyer and the great staff at REA Auctions. Don't forget to get your bid in by going to robertedwardauctions.com. That's Robert Edward Auctions for extraordinary results and extraordinary service. And this week, for the Rico Petrocelli signed.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice, Rico.
Well,
very stylish. You look very stylish.
See, I got into the color photos.
I like those. Very nice.
Yes.
All right, so this week's question was submitted by Steve Stanley. Steve Stanley? Yeah, I don't know who Steve Stanley is. But a couple of interesting questions. Rico, what are your thoughts on putting a runner at second base in extra innings, and also your opinion of the shift? Let's talk about second base first.
Well, both things I don't like at all. The runner at second base is, I can understand that they're trying to modernize things.
And speed it up.
Speed it up, yeah, that's true. But people that go to the ballpark don't complain about it. If it's late and their kids are there, they're going to go home earlier. But it's just weird. I mean, it's just... both teams have the advantage, but I don't like it, and I don't like the shift even more so. They ought to ban the shift. In other words, you can't go over the other side of the base.
I agree with that.
Shortstop can go to the base, which is a lot, and the third baseman could go, somewhat towards second base. But they one hit Major League Baseball and the commissioner, what's his name there?
Manfred.
I call him Manfredo. He's at time. But they're trying to modernize it, but the shift takes away from what they want to do. They want to see more action. They do want to see home runs, but they want to see more action, and you'll get more action that way.
Just one last question before we bring Jack on.
Sure.
How much would that have affected a hitter like Ted Williams?
The shift?
Yeah.
They did the shift on him.
They did.
Yeah, he hit into the shift. He was successful, and Ted could go the opposite way. They thought he was total pull hitter, but he can go up the middle and the other way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited about this. Most of us.
Don't get too excited. You have a
No,
heart attack. You know
I'm
what
really
saying?
excited about
Even
this.
the crickets.
Most of us over the last, I don't know how long I've been a collectors member of collectors, over 20 years, and got SMR magazine every month religiously, and there's a new look that's going to be unveiled. I was very fortunate enough to have a little peek, which obviously I'm not going to show, of the new magazine. So we'd like to chat right now with the new, and Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the publisher and editor of the PSA Magazine, or the editor. What exactly is your title?
So my official title for the magazine is managing editor.
Managing editor of the PSA Magazine.
That's right.
I am delighted with the way it looks. It looks really, it's a sharp, new look. I think collectors are going to be a little surprised, with the old look versus the new look. But first of all, tell us, what is your background in media? Can you, just tell us a little bit about Jack Archer?
Yeah. I've worked in media for the last decade plus, in different categories, different places. But my main focus was really on like design, architecture, fashion, gear, technology, and just how all that stuff kind of intertwines with culture. And I've just been such a big sports fan my entire life, a collector my entire life, and I've had such a deep love for sports cards, and seeing how the media landscape has really unfolded, especially when things have gotten so popular lately. I just felt to me that a lot of sports cards media was lagging behind where the rest of the media was. And I was just really excited to come in here and use some of my expertise and things that I specialize in and apply it to sports cards in a really fun, inclusive, exciting way. So I'm just really happy to be here. Honestly, it's like a dream come true job for me. And I just have such a like positive feeling about PSA as a company. And I'm just really excited for this part of the life cycle we're on with sports cards and collecting, and it's just a great place to be right now.
Oh, you mentioned you're a collector. When did you start collecting? As a youngster? Or?
And what do you collect?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started collecting in the 90s, mostly like Griffey, Kobe Bryant, and
Great players.
Just various players at the 90s. I really got much deeper into it in 01. And I was living in Seattle at the time as a kid. And that's when Ichiro came to the Mariners.
Yeah.
And that's when I really fell in love with collecting in a way that I was like doing research and diving deeper and getting really specific about what kind of cards I wanted to collect. I was like collecting like Johnny Damon cards, which is such a fun thing.
How can you not love Johnny Damon?
With the beard and the hair.
And the hair.
Yeah. I just thought he was the coolest person ever when I was a certain age.
Jack, just a quick story about Johnny Damon and Manny Ramirez.
Yeah.
They lived on they lived in a penthouse on Washington Street in Boston on the 30th floor. They each lived there, and one night they had been drinking a little too much, and they decided to the water balloons. They probably filled up about, I don't know, 10 or 20 water balloons, and they were dropping them on people.
That's a lawsuit right there.
On Washington Street in downtown Boston. But now, let's just stick on the collecting part of it for a second. Is it strictly baseball, or are you into basketball right now is red hot. Do you collect any basketball?
I'm into everything. Yeah. I at this point in my and with collecting, I'm probably deepest into basketball right now. My two biggest basketball PCs are Devin Booker and Jason Tatum. So it's a very, very good time for me to see both those people doing so well right this season and everything. I collect football. I collect baseball. I have like a bunch of other things I'm into too. I have some Marvel cards that I really like. I've been getting into F1 in a big way. We actually have a really fun story coming out a few issues from now about like treasure hunting for like vintage F1 cards. The Netflix show has really popularized the sport in the US. We have a new race coming to Miami this year. And then the following year, we have another race coming to Las Vegas. And the Topps Chrome cards and Topps Dynasty cards will be getting so popular. But there's a lot of legends that are being kind of like forgotten because they don't have any of the modern card sets. So I just find that stuff like really interesting to me. Like for instance, like with Senna, he was like one of the most popular racers in the 80s and 90s. And his like technical rookie card is a card from a British board game.
Wow.
That PSA actually authenticates and grades. And that's his rookie card. So there's just a lot of like weirdness to it that I'm interested in, and I think collectors will be interested in. So like we're just doing like deep dives into categories like that are emerging in the modern front, but have kind of secretly been underground for a while. So it's been really fun to do projects like this.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, do you think that the industry and PSA and the industry as a whole should start advertising on not the major stations?
It's a good question.
You know what I mean? I know it's expensive, but you know.
So I was actually listening to Michael Rubin on the Bill Simmons podcast recently, and he's the CEO, founder of Fanatics. They're the company that obviously bought Topps. Yeah. And he was saying that he talked to one of the marketing guys at Topps, really sharp, really smart, knows his stuff. And he said, hey, how much of our revenue annually would you guess that we spend on marketing? And he was like, I don't know, like 15, 20%, less than 2%.
Yeah, see, that's.
And he went on and on and on about saying how he's like there's never been TV commercials for sports cards. Yeah. There's never been any change, any momentum, any real marketing, like quality marketing applied to sports cards. And I just think Fanatics, what they're going to be able to do, especially with the kind of money that they have, is just really throw some gasoline on the fire.
I mean, that's a great question because, I mean, if you get that hobby, that industry into mainstream American television, not just, I'm talking, a cable, streaming, all of that, I think it's really going to explode because, quite frankly, I mean, it's a big hobby, but there are a lot of people that are sports fans that don't collect. Yeah. And once they see how this is all picking up, I think it can just be crazy.
Yeah, I see a lot of parallels between this and daily fantasy. You guys might remember like 2013, 2014, you couldn't turn on ESPN without seeing DraftKings ad, FanDuel ad, DraftKings ad, FanDuel ad. And I think there's a lot of cohesiveness between those two things, and I can absolutely imagine like segments within games, and just really doing some exciting stuff with marketing with some of these big new players in the space.
There's there is a TV show on.
There's a couple of them.
Oh, really? Well, this one I think it's on MeTV. Which I think they get 4 or 5 people.
That's not the one Kenny Golden's.
No, this is a woman, a blonde woman, and she has guests on, and it's all kinds of stuff. The set has all kinds of collectibles in there, not just cards, baseball, sports cards. And it's a decent show, but it really doesn't.
It's not high tech.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like something that would, really get into the industry and the cards and memorabilia, but that's another possibility.
Hey Jack, tell us about the changes in the magazine. Can you without obviously showing us examples, can you talk about some of the changes that hobbyists can collect? And by the way, when is the next? When is the new change coming? When is the new?
So the first issue I worked on just got printed, so it's being sent to our our distribution arm, and it's going to be mailed out shortly.
Okay.
So by the end of the month is typically when most people are going to be able to go hands-on with it.
So can you tell us about some of the changes?
Yeah. So the most obvious upgrade I would say is the design language of the magazine. We brought in an old friend of mine who I've worked with for well over a decade, who's the art director of LAFC, the MLS team. And in my opinion, he's world-class when it comes to combining sport and art together in a really, really cool way. So we're doing some really fun stuff with the different design elements, typography. We worked tirelessly to figure out ways to best present the actual PSA graded cards. One of my pet peeves in the industry right now is the simple scan with the black background cut out and there's dust particles on it.
Oh, God.
And it just feels really sloppy. It lacks a professionalism. So we worked really hard to develop a new system to present collectible cards in the very, very best way.
You know, you
highlight like how refractors actually refract in real life on the page, and try to do that the best we could.
You know, it's interesting. Just not to interrupt you, but I know you know that we're about to. Our new book is about to be launched. Or will be launched at the national that we're doing for PSA, and the card images that we submitted. I can't tell you the great job that was done by PSA, Jackie Curiel, Luis, cleaning up those images, doing exactly what you just talked about. They're pristine. So that's a feather in your cap and a tip of the cap. What about the price guide? Is the price guide going to go away?
The price guide's staying. So it's really important to me and really important to everybody at PSA that we sort of honor the heritage of SMR. That's how the magazine started. And I mean, for me growing up, like flipping through Beckett's in the 90s, I always loved that. And I still love that with where the magazine is today. We are updating it slightly just to sort of clean it up. And we're curating it a little bit more. So like apologies to like Cam Reddish collectors, but certain players that aren't even giving minutes in the NBA are probably not going to be in there. And then how we're organizing it is going to be slightly different too. We're still going to have all the iconic sets, but we're also going to be highlighting players via based on player categories rather than set categories. So rather than having you look at 2000 and having a bunch of different set category names and one Tom Brady card across multiple pages, there's just going to be a Tom Brady section and all of his most important cards.
Very cool.
I think that will be really interesting and fun for collectors. It will allow for moments for a player being added to the price guide or being removed from the price guide. And I'm a big baseball card collector. I like the Bowman stuff particularly. And one thing I always sort of struggled with when it was by year was that you would have, you look at like, you know, Bo Bichette or Juan Soto's, like the most important cards were in far different years. So rather than having to find their Bowman first, figure out what year that was, then go find what their true rookies are, you can have everything under one player in one bucket.
Very, very, very interesting.
I was just thinking, an article. You're going to do articles in human interest.
Oh
And
so the majority of the book is going to be editorial.
All right, so that's not going away because I think that's a key part. And
collectors too.
Yeah, I mean they love that.
To get a good,
the hobbyists. You're going to feature, some of the hobbyists. I think that's really good. It's interesting that I was really nervous about you possibly eliminating the guide because we do a lot. We go to a lot of shows. We do a lot of remotes, and it's just amazing how many people still walk around with that magazine and their price guide as they're looking at cards and flipping through it. On the value of the card and all of that good stuff. So, that's a really, really good thing that you guys are doing. What's the state actually though of hobby media? Is it still evolving?
It's really early, in my opinion. There's not a lot of it, and I think people are really hungry for it. So they just engage with any type of hobby media that's out there, whether it's in podcast form, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's with blogs and websites or in print, just because they're so hungry for hobby content. And there's a lot of frustration there because a lot of it's just not very good or very interesting, or it feels dated, or it feels like too transactional, which is something I want to avoid always too, because that stuff comes and goes, and ultimately it's not the most important thing here. So I think there's a lot of room for it to grow, and I think there's a lot of energy that can be injected into it, and I'm excited to try my best to sort of inject that with this magazine and with some other stuff we're doing at PSA.
And the advertising part of it is going to remain the same with sponsors, people that want to advertise in the magazine. Can they still do it? Shops, auction houses.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're working on various ways to sort of develop advertising in interesting new ways, and really kind of focus on how can we have advertising in the magazine, work with all of our great dealer partners, and also serve the reader in the very best way. And there's a lot of like interesting techniques that are happening online and in other places in media that we're kind of building out right now, and going to hope to present to a lot of our traditional dealer partners, and then also reach out to other brands, whether in the hobby or outside of the hobby, and kind of loop them in with everything that's going on with this magazine.
Very, very cool stuff.
Great.
Well, listen, we wish you the best. You're going to be at the National, we're assuming.
Of course, I wouldn't miss it.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. We look forward to seeing you there. And I think we're going to have Ellen and I and John Mallory, I think we're going to have a little setup somewhere at the PSA booth on Saturday, because they're launching. Well, yeah, they're going to be giving the book out to the collectors out as a premium, and we'll be doing a book signing there for a couple of hours.
It's great.
We're going to see if we can get Kenny Kendrick to come with us from the Arizona Diamondbacks. That'll be really cool, and go from there.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Jack, we wish you the best. I know we're going to be chatting down the road, and good luck to you.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks so much. It was really great being on the show. I love the set. We're trying to build out the set for PSA podcast right now, and we might take some inspiration from this.
Yeah, this is and you're only seeing the set. I mean, this is a studio. We're part of it. It's called the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. So we have seating here for about 75 people. A little table set up, a little coffee bar. People hang out, and it's a lot of fun.
Very nice.
So,
Yeah.
Love it. Well, hey, it was a pleasure being on
Good
here.
luck to
you. Great.
It was just awesome. So I would love to come back anytime you guys like.
Oh, yeah, we'll have you back.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
And just one last thing, when we're on again at the National, we'll get you up on stage with us, and we'll talk about the new magazine.
Yeah,
great.
let's do it. We have a really fun issue planned for the National. I'll just say it will be mental related.
Excellent.
And we'll go from there. So.
All right, take care. Good luck.
Thanks, Jack. Take care.
Jack Archer, the managing editor of PSA Magazine.
Nice.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. We're going to bring James in because he's got a great thing going with some Jackie Robinson artwork.
Wow.
Not bad, huh?
No, that's fabulous.
Hang in there. We'll be right back.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auction and Collectibles Company. If you're looking to maximize your return on your sports cards and collectibles, look no further. We at Memory Lane Auction House offer you several options to achieve top dollar for your collectibles. Whether you're looking to auction or sell privately, we're the #1 choice with over 17 years in the hobby. Nobody will work harder to achieve your goals. Just call us today at 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE. Or visit us on the web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Go with the best. Go with Memory Lane.
With so many fakes out there, it's hard to figure out if the sneakers you want are real. But when you buy eligible sneakers on eBay, you can be confident they're genuine because every pair goes through a meticulous authentication process. Introducing eBay Authenticity Guarantee. First, the sneakers you've purchased are inspected by a team of professional authenticators who carefully examine the shoes, including color, pattern, logos, and materials. Then they're measured and compared to the eBay listing to make sure they match. Even the laces, accessories, and box are checked. Once your sneakers are verified, they receive an authenticity tag, and every tag is NFC enabled so you can see the detailed specs. eBay Authenticity Guarantee. No fakes, no fraud, no doubt.
Oh, thank you. eBay is the place to go for all of
this is why I like being back.
Sports or non-sports cards. eBay, listen, autographs and much more, not just non-sports cards. Autographs, much more, whether it's a gift for that special someone or you want to just add to your collection.
Is there a fire over there?
eBay's huge marketplace should be your first stop. And if you sell, now's the time to flip your cards and get some extra cash. I shop on eBay all of the time. The products are excellent.
What was the last thing you bought on eBay?
That's eBay, connecting buyers and sellers globally.
What was the last thing you bought on eBay?
I bought, I like to fish. I bought some golf stuff. Naturally, sports stuff, for me.
You know what I bought recently?
No.
Seriously. Hey, let's bring James in first. James, how are you, buddy?
James.
How are you?
James, you're going to stay with us right to the end, we decided, because we like you.
Oh,
cool. Sounds good.
All right, but listen.
We're lucky to have him.
You know what I just bought on eBay? Honest to God.
No, come on.
I got a great deal, and it was sold. It was bought about 40 years ago from a guy that still works at the Hall of Fame. I got a Mickey Mantle sign ball. It's all authenticated. Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, and Duke Snyder all in the same ball.
Is that where you got it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On eBay.
To me, that would
Pretty
be
cool, right?
Pretty
well,
good.
I don't care if it's,
well,
it's
no, I
my
understand.
grandkids. It's
Yeah,
not for me.
of course.
But anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
They'll throw
We're
it
going to
out.
bring in, before we talk to James, our giveaway, this is a Great American Collectibles T-shirt. And by the way,
quality.
In the coming weeks, we're actually going to be selling these.
That's right.
You're going to be able to purchase these. It's really cool. I like mine. I don't like the ones with the collars. They're too dressy.
I like the ones with the collar. You wear yours, and I'll wear mine.
But anyway, this week's so we're going to give one away right now from the. By the way, this bag is going away. The Staten Island Joe bag we're going to get rid of because I have a new concept for giveaways. We're going to talk about that. This week's winner is the T-shirt. And by the way, it's a large, so tough. I don't have any extra larges left.
Oh, we'll get them.
Is George Lavelli. George Lavelli. George, I think that we know that you do follow the show. You have a week to get in touch with us. Email us. message us. If we don't hear from you in a week, you are out. Fair enough, right?
Well, I mean, geez, it's kind of rough. I tell you right now, I would never do that.
All right, let's bring
James.
in our good friend, a really good friend of the show. I think he's the best artist. Not as good as you.
Wow, that's well.
James, you got to see.
Well, who do you think
James,
taught
honestly,
James?
you have to see his artwork.
Huh?
Did you ever hear the word vomit? Just you got to look at his artwork.
Surreal. It's surreal.
Surreal. James Fiorentino, just a fabulous artist. But James, you're here for a special reason. Tell us about the new painting in conjunction with the fact that this is the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson. Tell us about it.
Yeah, part of the project that's been ongoing for the last few years, There's Only One, and continuing in that process of beautiful thing is painting so many iconic trading cards that are still out there. Part of the project, I had not painted a Jackie yet, and of course, I painted the 52 Topps Jackie Robinson, which is one of my favorite all-time cards, and timed it to debut obviously this past week for the 75th anniversary. I've obviously always been a huge fan of Jackie Robinson since I was a kid. Had the opportunity to meet his son one time, and just to be able to showcase that painting this week is an honor, and just one of my favorite all-time cards. And of course, you, Tom, with the 52 Topps book, it's just what an incredible set and a really fun painting to have done.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. When Mallory and I were down in Philly, I was flabbergasted at your little gallery in there and some of the stuff that you've done. I mean, just incredible. Now, is this painting? Is this going to be for sale? What? Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's available for sale. It's honestly the Dr. J, which was done at the Philly show a few months ago. They had autographed. That one and this Jackie Robinson are really the first ones that have been up for sale since this whole project began, where they've all been selling out, being commissioned, selling out. And there's been a tremendous amount of interest. It may even already be sold, but a tremendous amount of interest in it. And I was showcasing other paintings I've done of Jackie as well over the years, whether it was for Upper Deck or paintings I had done a few years back. I mean, the cool thing about Jackie, tied in with New Jersey, of course, is his first ever hit as a professional was in New Jersey, was in Jersey City at Roosevelt Field. And my good friend who passed away, Ed Lucas, was actually at that game, which is unbelievable. And he would tell me stories about being at that game as a kid. So I just love all these ties to Jackie. I'm obviously a historian of the game, so I was kind of showcasing other previous paintings I had done. But obviously the 52 Topps Jackie Robinson, to me, is one of the most iconic cards there is. And I believe keeps going up in value. It's just such an awesome card.
Yeah, it should. Jackie, just think about this. Of course, he went to college, with
UCLA. Hell of a football player.
Yeah, he was a great athlete. But he went right to AAA ball, and that's why they play. He was in Montreal.
I did not know that.
And then the next year to the big leagues.
I did not know that.
That's amazing. Then especially because those guys in AAA, they would knock you on your rear end as fast as you.
Wasn't he an All-American football player?
Yeah, well,
he was a tailback.
He
wasn't
might have been. Yeah, he was just a great athlete. People don't realize how tough that is.
Hey, by the way, speaking about great athletes, how are your Yankees doing, James? Just thought I'd throw that out.
If I had to be positive here, we won the first two series, right, against two good teams. We've actually been pitching pretty great, except for our closer's been a little bad. But the bats have not awakened yet. And I feel like, honestly, being a Yankee fan, that happens a lot early in the season. For some reason, they don't always play well in the beginning and in the cold. And then once you start getting to May and June, they heat up, they'll go on a streak. But, yeah, it's just – I guess it's a lot in baseball now, right? Guys are just trying to hit home runs.
No, I agree.
Don't hit a home run, they don't score a lot, it seems like right now.
Well, they're going to be streaky because they are a home run, pretty much, a home run hitting team, fly balls. And when they are hitting, they're great, oh, man. But when they're not, they're going to get cold. It's going to go back and forth. It depends on how long they have the winning streak and how long they have the losing streak. But I think you'll see that all year long with that type of lineup.
Hey, James, we got a couple of minutes left. Not everybody can afford a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 painting, but they can still buy some of your wonderful work. Can you tell us about that? The average hobbyist, how can he purchase some James Fiorentino artwork?
Absolutely, yeah. So jamesfiorentino.com, my website has a store in there. I have some beautiful prints, giclées, posters. And, through Instagram and Facebook, I'll run some cool promos. Like right now, I have a promo going where if you follow me through Instagram and you have a couple other people following me, I've been giving away some signed PSA covers that I've done. And people are always asking me about that. So I have a Michael Jordan cover that I'm giving away. So even cool prizes like that I literally give out as free items to people and through the contest. But there's a lot of limited editions, some signed by the athletes, some signed by me through my store. And and there's commissions all the time. There's even smaller paintings that I'll create for people, throughout the year if I have time here and there. So
are you going to be at the National?
I will be at the National. I'm very excited. I'll be in the corporate section. I'm going to have a pretty incredible display of some of my new Fiorentino Elite paintings. Obviously, there's only one. Nice. There'll be some of those paintings there, some new paintings of there's only one. And actually, we were just talking about before. I think I'm going to have my Ted Williams 20 Greatest Hitters painting, which hasn't been seen since the Ted Williams Museum going over 25 years ago. Which to me is one of the most incredible paintings that I've ever done and maybe ever done in a hobby where, it was done for Ted and it's signed by Mantle, Mays, Williams. And I think people are going to go nuts seeing that painting in our booth. Joe will be with me. It's going to be a really great opportunity. I'll have PSA covers that I've done the last 2 years for people and signing stuff. So it should be a good time.
Great. Your website address, sir?
It's jamesfiorentino.com.
JamesFiorentino.com. Don't forget, go onto the site. James, you've done a great job.
We'll see you at the National.
And you're a credit to the hobby, brother.
Look forward to seeing you.
Looking forward to seeing you guys. Thanks so much as always. James. I really appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, Rick, I think that's a wrap, brother.
Well, I've really enjoyed being back with you side by side. And next time, put on some deodorant. But no, I'm
killing me. You're killing me.
No, I'm joking around.
But listen, all kidding aside, it's good being back to see you.
Great to be back, and I'm so happy to see the industry because we talked about that from day one.
Talk about
growing the industry.
But talk about the changes that you and I have seen in the 6 years we've been on the air. It's been incredible.
It's great.
All right, with that being said, we love you guys. Thanks for all the support. Thanks to all of our guests today. They've all... They're all credits to the hobby.
Yes.
And with that being said, happy collecting.
Take care.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.